Hello everyone, welcome to the Executive Outlook. Today, our guest is Dr. Joe. He's a transformative figure in IT, health, and human services. With advanced degrees, including a doctorate in education, Dr. Joe excels as a senior system analyst at the NC Department of Human and Health Services. He bridges the gap between high level business and technical stakeholders, analyzing complex systems, identifying areas for improvement, and implementing solutions that cater to both business executives and IT professionals. He has been featured on the Times Square billboard and ranked as a top 10 thought leaders on Thinkers 360. He is an Amazon best-selling author. His reach extends to over 17,000 LinkedIn followers, a magazine column, and numerous certifications. Joel speaks at numerous global conferences. His expertise covers BI analysis, data warehouse design, problem solving, and many more. Today, Dr. Joe will help with some amazing insights on how data and then how digital platforms are changing the business world. So let's discuss our discussion.
Yes, ma'am. I am a senior systems analyst and team leader at the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services. I'm also fractionally, I serve as chief technology officer for a startup company called Cognimind. And on the side, I write articles, I speak at conferences, and I have a wonderful time enjoying life and living it to its fullest.
Thank you for sharing that. It's really exciting. So tell us how you started. Tell us about your journey and how
Mhm.
you are here. Yeah, as working as a fractional CTO and the system analyst.
Sure. So, you mean like a typical day and what my journey has been and that kind of thing? Yeah,
Yes, yes.
absolutely. Absolutely. It's my pleasure. So, let me tell you, Isha, my days are anything but typical. All right. There's a constant dance, if you will, between the analytical on the one side and the creative on the other side. One minute I might be diving into a data set, identifying trends and patterns. Whereas maybe the next minute, well, I'd be brainstorming out of the box strategies to propel us forward. I always try to maintain a natural curiosity about the why behind the what of everything. Numbers. Oh man, numbers have always held a certain magic for me, Isha. You know, um, a way to explain the world around us. Um, Now, you also asked about my journey. So, as far as my own personal journey is concerned, well, I was an educator for 10 years before I got into my current information technology career. As a matter of fact, both my bachelor's and my master's degrees are in education. So, transitioning from an educator to a technologist was actually more natural than you might think. In the
Okay.
last few years in my career as an educator, I took on increasingly impossible jobs of a technical nature. Typically, I do that during the summers when I wouldn't be teaching. And that was primarily to supplement my income because, well, quite frankly, educators are typically not the best paid professionals. But in keeping with the technology-based minor of my doctorate also is in education, by the way. Anyway, this became more than just a way for me to stay ahead of my bills and pay my bills. I actually started to get pretty good at it. Often going beyond the call of duty in those jobs, those temporary jobs, the places where I worked, to resolve issues, improve efficiency, and implement ideas that, well, would greatly benefit the clients that I worked for in the summer. Especially as the nature of the work became more and more complex as I was each year better able to leverage my graduate education and hone my technical
Mhm.
skills in those jobs. In fact,
Mhm.
I got so good at it that they had me running the school's computer lab the last year that I taught. Yeah. So when the job offer came for me to become a computer consultant at an NC State University. Well, not only was it a major promotion for me, but it was also again a natural evolution in my career progression because it was a true blending of my two professional loves, education and technology, kind of blended together. So as I rose through the ranks at NC State over the next 25 years, let's see, to computer training manager, analyst programmer, and business intelligence specialist, um, not only was I responsible for designing educational training programs, but also educating our key stakeholders about the multifaceted data that we were all supposed to be reporting on, along with providing insights that they could derive from those data. I really enjoyed showing them just how satisfying that insight can be, and even more so when you yourself happens to be the one who gets to present the data. I still do that to this day, especially when it's presented in a logical, truthful, and visually compelling manner. Now, with all that being said, Isha, my educational background in both computers and theology of all things, even education too, provided me with a unique perspective that allowed me to effectively bridge the gap between technical expertise and human understanding. Now,
Okay.
speaking of bridging gaps in the early stages of my career, I don't know, I was heavily focused on technical aspects of data analysis. Yeah, I enjoyed the challenge of making sense of these complex data sets that I'd get to dive into, and the
Mhm,
meaningful insights that I get to extract and help others to extract as well. However,
mhm,
I soon realized that um, the real power of data lies not just in understanding it, but also in effective communicating its story. You know, this
true.
this led me to blend my analytical skills with strategic thinking and strong communication abilities. And this enabled me to bridge another gap, and that is the gap between data and actionable insights. Now, this dovetailed very nicely into, well, my ability, and thank God for these amazing opportunities that I've had to speak in conferences, more than 100 of them in the last 3 years alone. I enjoy the keynotes. I enjoy using my talents, my God given talents for communication to, well, make a positive impact on audiences and bring value to conferences and, well, generate a pretty high level of energy into the room. I love to do that. I enjoy doing it as much as I can. But back to the typical day, your question, Isha. Every day presents new challenges and opportunities, whether I'm collaborating with cross functional teams or aligning data strategies with business goals or mentoring younger analysts to help them see the bigger picture. You know, there's always a sense of purpose. My faith, my commitment to making a positive impact, those things also drive me. And on a personal note, well, I'm deeply involved in my church's Spanish and military ministries, both of which keep me grounded. And, well, you might say that they remind me of the broader implications of the things that I
Yep.
do. So, the balance between my professional responsibilities and my personal passions like music, family, faith, that creates what I'd like to think as a dynamic and fulfilling life. Um, and it's this unique blend, Isha, the technical and the creative, the professional and the personal, that pretty much defines my journey.
And you keep a balance between these, and that is also, otherwise people work, or they don't spend time what they do loving, right? So with family, with religion, with other things, right? So you are keeping a balance. That's amazing. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. What are the aspects of your job that excites you the most?
Oh boy. Well, as you can tell, I get excited about a lot of things. So no, well, um, this is absolutely a great question. The most thrilling part of my job is the potential for transformation. Okay, in helping run a data warehouse, seeing raw data transformed into actionable insights that drive real change. Yeah, wow, Isha, that is exhilarating to me anyway. There's something profoundly satisfying about turning
Mhm,
complex data into a clear narrative that guides decision making. Okay,
mhm,
it's about empowering organizations to make data-driven decisions that unlock all kinds of possibilities that they never even knew existed. Um,
mhm,
Moreover, there's there's a sense of constant evolution in my field. The digital landscape is ever changing. Staying ahead of the curve, exploring new tools and strategies. Those are the things that keep everything incredibly stimulating for me. I always feel like I'm learning, always adapting. I have to. One day, um, I might be diving into advanced analytics techniques. The next day, I'm exploring the potential of AI, machine learning, RPA bots that can revolutionize our processes. But what truly excites me more than anything, Isha, is the human element. Where you see, data can tell us quite a bit, but it's the stories behind the numbers that make the real difference. And that is when I see how these insights can improve lives, whether it's through more efficient social services in the work that I do, or better targeted healthcare to the public. Now, to that point, let me briefly share with you the remarkable story of a lady who was a doctor, Dr. Virginia Apgar. She was a trailblazing physician who absolutely revolutionized neonatal care. Dr. Apgar was the first woman to ever become a full professor at Columbia University, the College of Physicians and Surgeons. Anyway, she was passionate about saving lives. Her legacy extends beyond any textbook or research paper. One day, during a routine delivery of a baby, she noticed that newborns faced significant challenges in their first moments of life. We all know that now, but they didn't do it. They didn't know it all that much back then. Anyway, inspired by her observations, she developed what later came to be known as the APGAR score, and that's a quick assessment tool to evaluate a newborn's overall health immediately after they're born. Anyway, that score, which was introduced in 1952, considers 5 vital signs. Okay, let me see if I can remember what the letters stand for. Let's see, A. The A is appearance, pulse, grimace, activity, and respiration. That's it. Anyway,
okay.
by quantifying these measures, Dr. Apgar empowered healthcare providers to very quickly identify infants in distress and intervene effectively on behalf of those babies. Her dedication to improving neonatal outcomes reminds me, probably should remind all of us, that behind every medical statistic lies a tiny, vulnerable life, a beating heart, if you will. Well, Dr. Apgar's legacy lives on to this day, touching countless families and underscoring the importance of the human element in medicine and in every aspect of data. Her story reminds me that it's not just about the data. It's about the human lives that we impact, those beating hearts, and those stories that we write with our compassion and our expertise. It's a reminder of why I do what I do each day.
You truly said this, that it is about human element for sure, because ultimately what we are all doing is connecting the stories from the data and then the implementation, and for whom we are doing the implementation is the human. It's right. So what do you think, how strategy and data plays a key role in any organization growth and scale?
I would like everybody to imagine themselves driving blindfolded, okay, through a complex, ever-changing landscape. All right, in this silly scenario I just painted, suppose for a moment that data is your high-resolution map, okay, revealing every contour and obstacle, while strategy might be, say, your sophisticated GPS that's guiding you towards your destination. All right. If you didn't have these two tools together, working together, yeah, well, you as a person or as an organization, you would essentially be navigating in the dark, right? Risking costly detours, missed opportunities, and even crashes. Well, this picture firmly in your mind, okay, data, when harnessed effectively, illuminates the entire business ecosystem with what might seem like just numbers are things that are going to transform raw information into actionable insights. All right. This data driven clarity allows organizations to develop strategies that are both ambitious and at the same time grounded in reality. All right. It's the difference between shooting in the dark and taking a calculated aim. Yeah. Well, no, no, no. I think I need to be keeping with the metaphor that I started us off with. Okay. I'm not going to change the metaphor. The difference, let me say it this way, the difference between driving blindfolded and driving with a full view of that landscape that we're talking about. Um,
True.
you see, Isha, the synergy between strategy and data, as you so eloquently asked me, um, creates a powerful feedback loop. Data informs strategy, which inform is going to generate new data, continually refining the organization's approach, right? This iterative process over and over, it's crucial for scaling operations and achieving sustainable growth. You know, um, it allows organizations to move swiftly in response to, say, market shifts, for instance. It sees emerging opportunities, and it can also mitigate risk before those risks become critical, right? It helps the
Hmm.
people to become proactive rather than reactive. And on top of all that, I think this approach fosters a culture of evidence-based decision making. Yeah, throughout the entire organization. When everyone from the C-suite all the way to the frontline workers, okay, everything is aligned with data strategy consistently across the board. Well, it creates a unified sense of purpose and direction. Now, this alignment, I believe, Isha, is essential for executing complex growth initiatives and also navigating all the challenges of scaling. In essence, well, strategy and data, when you put them together, form the backbone of organizational intelligence. All right. They enable businesses to, I don't know, not only react to the present, but also to anticipate and shape the future as well. In a world where change is the only constant, this predictive capability, this proactive capability we're talking about, I believe is absolutely invaluable. It's a thing that separates organizations that merely survive from those that truly thrive and leave a lasting impact on their industries. As oh, what's that lady's name? American poet Mary Angelou once said. She said, "My mission in life is not merely to survive, but to thrive, and to do so with some, how did she say it? Passion, compassion, humor, and some style." I love those words.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. Thank you, Dr. Joe.
Thank you.
Okay,
Yes,
so
ma'am.
lastly, I want to ask that what is the significance of digital platforms in any business growth?
Mm. Digital platforms, I think, are not, they should no longer be an afterthought. I think a lot of people have considered them to be like an afterthought. It's the last thing you think about. Okay. I think instead they should be the lifeblood of modern businesses. You know, they've evolved from being just plain old tools to becoming the very ecosystem in which modern businesses can thrive. Okay, now some might view them as only like virtual shop windows. No, I think it's more than that. There are entire marketplaces, community hubs, innovation laboratories. That's all rolled up into one. Their significance lies in their ability to fundamentally transform how businesses operate, connect, and grow as well. Um, Digital platforms, I guess you could say, they democratize access to global markets. And what I mean by that, Isha, is that they level the playing field, okay, allowing even small businesses to compete on that global stage. Now, this expanded reach extends beyond potential sales to tapping into diverse talent pools, forming strategic partnerships, and maybe gaining quite a bit of exposure to cutting edge ideas from around the world. But the true power of digital platforms lies in their ability to generate and harness data. Every click, every interaction, every transaction leaves a digital footprint. Okay. And when analyzed intelligently, this data becomes, yeah, well, I suppose somewhat like a crystal ball, if you will, offering unprecedented insights into market trends, customer behavior, and even emerging opportunities. I think it allows businesses to, I don't know, not only meet current customer needs, but maybe even anticipate future demands, staying ahead of the curve. Some more of that proactive stuff that we were talking about a minute ago. Um, Furthermore, I think digital platforms enable a level of crystallization and customer engagement, to a level that was unimaginable during the analog era. They allow businesses to create tailored experiences, fostering deeper connections with their audience. This enhanced engagement, if you will, translates into maybe brand loyalty, repeat business, and even organic growth through word of mouth, in the digital sphere.
Mhm.
Okay, this scalability that's offered by digital platforms, I suppose that's another crucial factor in their significance. They allow businesses and organizations to expand their operations exponentially without a proportional increase in resources. Um, the things like cloud computing, AI-driven processes, digital supply chains, other things like that. This means that organizations can serve a much larger customer base, maybe even a global customer base if they so choose, with remarkable efficiency. Um, One more thing. I think digital platforms are catalysts for innovation. They provide fertile ground for experimentation, allowing businesses to test new ideas, pivot quickly based on feedback, and they can iterate at speeds that were once unthinkable. This agility, Isha, is crucial in today's fast-paced business environment, where the ability to adapt can make the difference between obsolescence and industry leadership. In essence, digital platforms are not just significant. I think they're transformative. They are rewriting the rules of business, creating new possibilities for growth, engagement, and even innovation. In this digital age, embracing these platforms goes beyond just staying competitive, if you will. It enables us to unlock the full potential of what a business can achieve, and maybe even redefine the boundaries of prosperity for them. And you know what, Isha? In this digital age, platforms aren't just tools. They are the new bedrock of business and organizational revolution. Even, those who master them won't just survive, they'll thrive. Like Mary Angelou said, they can redefine an entire industry and shape the future of commerce itself. The question really isn't whether your organization can afford to fully embrace digital platforms, Isha. The question really
Yes.
is whether it can afford not to. That's how I see it anyway.
Oh, that that is true. That is true. Because if they don't want to go, they are not being thriving for the business, right? So they will
Exactly.
be reluctant, and there will be no transformative growth, I would say, right? So this is
Yes, ma'am. You're absolutely right because if they don't take if they don't see the stakes, they're not going to take ownership. If they're not going to take ownership, you're not going to get buy in. And if you don't have buy in, you're not going to have action. And if you don't have action, you're not going to have progress. And if you don't have progress, you're not going to have innovation. And I'm convinced that if you don't have innovation, you have stagnation. And I don't think
true.
anybody wants that. Yes, ma'am.
Otherwise, that is not a business. So
Exactly.
yeah.
You no longer have a business at that point. You might as well go home and I don't know, play with your dog or something, or play cards or just go home and do nothing, because
Yes.
you have to keep moving forward. It's either innovate or stagnate.
Thank you for watching and exploring the transformative insights of Dr. Joe. We hope you find inspiration and valuable takeaways to drive innovation in your own journey. Stay tuned to the Executive Outlook for more thought proven content and expert perspectives that shape the future of business and technology. Thank you.